Hi friends, this is NJ, host on this channel. So we will start our discussion on the nakshatra number 7 in the total list of 27 nakshatras. The nakshatra which I am talking about is the Punarvasu Nakshatra, and this is just going to be an introductory video where we will try to understand the symbol, the deities associated with this nakshatra, and in the following videos we'll get into the core of understanding the functioning of this particular nakshatra. So before we'll start our discussion, just a quick recap of all what we have studied so far. What we are trying to do is that we are trying to understand the functioning of these nakshatra, because the Vedic astrology is a sidereal system which is more driven by the moon. It emphasizes on these star cluster because behind each zodiac sign there is the energy of 3 different nakshatras. You cannot rely on your analysis, on your prediction only on the basis of planets inhabiting or transiting the zodiac sign only. So when it comes to these nakshatras, they all are being ruled by the different deities, gods altogether. So in order to have a strong hold in your reading, in your assessment, you cannot ignore the significance and importance of these nakshatras. And in Hinduism, they are considered as so important that even a child gets named on the basis of at the time of his birth, whichsoever nakshatra the moon is transiting, whichsoever pada of that nakshatra, a child's name starts and begins from that particular associated alphabet only. So this is what the significance of these nakshatras are. When it comes to understanding this particular Punarvasu Nakshatra, so first thing is the planetary rulership. So its planetary rulership goes to the Sattvic planet Jupiter. So this nakshatra can be seen as the beginning or the genesis of the Sattvic planet Jupiter. When it comes to the power, the Shakti, because each nakshatra has got its own power. This nakshatra has got the Vasutva Prapana Shakti, which means power to accomplish objective. It also tells about the triumphant, the victorious return and renewal. When it comes to how we look at this star, so this is the star of renewal. When it comes to its space in zodiac, how much space it occupies. So its domain is spread from 20 degree in Gemini to 3 degree 20 minutes within the Cancer zodiac sign. When it comes to its astronomical significance, so this Punarvasu Nakshatra is also seen in modern astronomical terms as the 2 brightest stars in the constellation of the Gemini. In the form of these 2 brightest stars are known as Castor, also known as Alpha, and Pollux. So this is what the sync and the significance of this Punarvasu Nakshatra is. These 2 stars can be looked as the extreme side of the human nature. Castor represents the naughtiness, Pollux represents the generosity, and Punarvasu is the nakshatra which act as the balancing medium between these 2 extreme sides of the human nature. When it comes to the name, symbol and the deity, so the name Punarvasu in itself means, see, it is made by 2 words. Punar, which means coming again, repetition, and Vasu means abundance, wealth. So we have the 8 Vasus, the Apa, Anala, Anila, Soma, Pratyusha, Prabhasa. So what we get to know from this is that the repetition, gaining accomplishment, gaining victory, gaining wealth, this could be looked at from the perspective of that in a second turn, in a second attempt. But yes, this nakshatra has the power to give fulfillment, to make your wishes, your objectives come true. So this is what we get to know from the name itself. When it comes to the symbol attached with this nakshatra, so this nakshatra is associated with a bow and a quiver full of arrows. Now what can we get to know from this? See, when I say a case or a quiver full of arrows, so these arrows are the arrows which have their sync in our mythology. These used to be the magical arrows which has the power to first hit the target and then again come back and get their space in the quiver. So what we get to know from this, first thing which we get from a arrow is about having a strong hold in your targets, in your objectives. And second thing is successful accomplishment of those targets. So you hit the bow, it hit the target, and again it came back and got the space in your quiver or in your case. So this is what we get to know from the symbol associated with this nakshatra. When it comes to the deity, so the deity associated with this nakshatra is the goddess Aditi. So she is the goddess of abundance, she is the mother of the 12 Adityas, so she is the mother of all the gods. She represents the unbounded space. So like the way this Gemini sign, which is being represented by these two entities, Castor and the Pollux, which has got two extreme side of it. Same is the way, like the way Aditi, goddess Aditi represents the unbounded space. She has her shadow side as well, Deity, which represents the bounded space, which represents, mothers all the demonic and the evil forces. So this nakshatra has got the deity as the goddess Aditi, mother of the gods. When it comes to understanding the nature and the functioning of this nakshatra, so all what can I say that this is the very benevolent, very humanitarian nakshatra. Even the Lord Ram, the 8th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, was born with Punarvasu star rising on his ascendant at the time of the birth. So all what we can get to know from this is a very benevolent nakshatra. It is a very accommodating nakshatra. People under the influence of this nakshatra won't face any problem in becoming a part of the team, in adjusting to any of the irresistible or very contradictory situation, environment, surroundings. So it's a very accommodating nakshatra, it's a very benevolent nakshatra, it's a very spiritual nakshatra. This nakshatra is in itself is associated with the safety. So let's say for example, you are undertaking any task at the predominance of this nakshatra, like shifting the home or making an important decision in the career, so that will remain to be and have a sense of security and safety in that. The only flaw side of this Punarvasu nakshatra is that it has been generally seen in the research that these people attain their objective in the second turn. So now you might get a sync of this here, that in the first turn Castor might acting as a spoil sport, but in the second attempt person gets the success. Or even in the case of the Lord Ram as well, who got his kingdom, who got his wife in the in the second attempt, where he lost them at one instance of his life. So all of that can be seen as the sync of this nakshatra. But in a nutshell, this nakshatra just makes someone very spiritual, very righteous, very humanitarian, very helpful, even just because of the the control of two planets, because it is being ruled by the planet Jupiter. 3/4 of its section falls in the Gemini sign, being ruled by the planet Mercury, and 1/4 falls in the domain of the Cancer, being ruled by the Moon. So we can find an amalgamation of the Jupiter, Mercury and the Moon energies in this Punarvasu nakshatra. So this nakshatra, see the case with just a prior to it, the nakshatra of Ardhara was little bit different, because in Ardhara intellectual energies were at its peak, but the emotional instability, emotional vulnerability and sensitivity was there, and because of the influence of the Rahu, person was always on the verge of making use of his intelligence for the deceptive means. But when it comes to Punarvasu, there is very least chances, only if there is no other negative influence in the chart, along with Jupiter is well disposed, that person will take any unethical means to attain his objective, to accomplish his goals. This is a very benevolent nakshatra, and in the following videos we will try to get into the core of understanding the functioning of this nakshatra. Even its flip side, the shadow side of this nakshatra is over intellectualization of the matters, too much of the idealism. So even the flip side and the shadow side of this nakshatra is too good for your bad. So this is all what I wanted to say as my take on the nakshatra number 7. For further more updates and notification on astrology, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.
Shivoham, Shivoham.